It is a beautiful spring day in the Missouri Ozarks, and it's a perfect day to start some seed blocks in the house. We are getting ready to start our seeds for our summer garden, and the seeds we start inside are broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, peppers, tomatoes, and a bunch of herbs. Now, I want to show everybody what we're using as a soil block mixture and the equipment that we use to make soil blocks, and then I'll go ahead and make some soil blocks for you guys to show you what they look like. Now, in getting ready for this spring, we did a lot of research online as to what soil mixture to use. It was super confusing, and there was a lot of conflict as to what should be used, what shouldn't be used. And in addition, a lot of those ingredients are not found near us. We would have to probably go an hour and a half to the big city to look around and find those ingredients. So we decided to take a chance and take a more simpler approach to making our soil block mixture, and this is what we've come up with. It's worked really well for us so far. I've already made 7 trays worth of soil blocks in the house. What we found at Walmart, and that's the only big store we have around us. It's still about 20 or 25 minutes away, but that's all we have, so we're making it work. What we are using is this Nature's Care Really Good Compost. Essentially, it's just compost. So find a good compost. And what's also working really well for us is to mix in this Jiffy Natural Organic Seed Starting Mix. Both of these are relatively inexpensive right now. This bag of the seed mix is $5, and we found this bag actually on clearance at Walmart for $4. But I think that you can get compost in bags now for maybe $6 or something. Anyway, the mixture that we use is 1-to-1. So we use 1 scoop of the compost and 1 scoop of the seed starting mix until we fill it up, add water, mix it, and then we get started using it. So I'm going to go ahead and make some up and add some water, and then we'll get down to business. I'm going to start with, 4 or 5 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5. And this really isn't an exact science, and I found it to be really forgiving, actually. Three, 4, 5. I'm going to do half of another one because not all those scoops were full. So what I do next generally is I just go through it real quick and make sure there aren't any big clumps in there and break them up with my hands. And at the same time, I'm kind of just stirring the two around before I put some water in there. That's looking pretty good. And when you start putting in the water, I'll confess that a lot of times I put in too much water. But it's been pretty forgiving for me so far. You want to add just a little bit at a time, mix it up, and once the ingredients start coming together into clumps and kind of stick together well, that's when you want to stop. But it needs to hold its shape. Like this is not wet enough because it falls apart. But I'll show you when I get some mixed up the general correct consistency. Now, when I first started making the soil mix, I used a spoon. But you know what? It just takes too much time. So I just use my hands. Why don't you come in and look at some of this? So you can see that like this is kind of too wet and gloppy, but that's only because I don't have everything mixed in yet. There's some that's still really dry, some that's still really too wet. But you can see that some of the clumps are getting bigger, and that is because it's becoming the right consistency to make soil blocks. See that? When you squeeze it together, it stays together kind of like Play-Doh, but dirt Play-Doh, I guess. Now, this is probably the right consistency to get started, but I'm a little nervous that they're going to fall apart. So I'm going to just add a little bit more water. This is how I get myself in trouble, I think. But I'm going to trust my instincts anyway. Maybe it's like a nice snowball consistency. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. There. I think that's good. Now if you want to mix this up a day ahead of time and then let it soak, I've done that too and it seems to work really well. And that allows like the peat moss that's in this mixture to really absorb it well. And then it sticks together really well. See that? I think that's going to work. Okay. All right, so as far as the soil block mix or the soil block maker, there are 3 sizes to this. There's a much smaller mini size, there's this middle size, and then there's like a giant size. I really just use the middle size. The smaller size hasn't worked well for us in the past. I feel like I need to do a lot more work. You start with the tiny one and then you insert it into this one, and then when the plant gets big enough, then you get it into the bigger one. But I just start all my seeds in this medium block size. I think the germination rates are good enough that you're really gonna have almost 100% germination rate in all of your medium soil blocks. So we tend to use this. The way this works is you shove it down into the soil, into a flat surface. You cram as much in there and really tight as you can, and you pull it out, and then when you put it on your tray, your seed tray, you push down. Actually, you end up pulling up. You push down and they pop out. Now, I don't know if you can come close while we do this. The general level of soil that you want really should be about twice the size of the block that you're going to be making. Just put it in, push down hard, wiggle it around. If you don't feel like you maybe didn't have enough, just put a little bit more down. Do it again. Push in really hard, pull up, and see how it did. Generally, what you want is a nice flat surface so that when you poke them out, they lay nicely, nice and flat. I'm using compost that hasn't been screened very well, and so sometimes there's these little sticks. I just pull them out. So we're all ready to take it out of here. Okay, the next step is to get these soil blocks out of the soil block maker. And it's really pretty fun, really pretty easy. You just put it in your seed tray, line it up where you want it. You're going to press down. By pressing down on this top one, you're really compacting the soil. So by doing that, you're compacting the soil, getting it ready to come out of the seed block maker. And in order to pop them out, you're actually going to pull up on this bar, while you're holding this down. It's really pretty easy. Pull up, tip it a little bit, and there they are. Now each one of them has a little indentation in there, and that's where you put your seeds. And after you put your seeds in there, then you grab a little bit more of your soil mixture and just top it off on each one of these. Now, I'm going to continue filling this tray all the way up. This tray holds 50. And then, as you can see, there's a little space here. It's a perfect amount of space to put another set of 4 here and another set of 4 here. And there's enough room at the end to squeak in 2 more blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and fill everything else in, and then I'm going to come back and show you how to just fill those last 2 soil block spots. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have 48 out of 50 of them done, and in order to get these last 2 positions filled, what I did was push all 4 out of them on the table, and then I can just transfer one at a time in these last 2 positions. See, that's one nice thing about this soil block maker is you can really just carry them around and they stay together. That's why the consistency is so important. So just gently put it in there, push it over into its place, and then take another one, put it in there, just gently, gently drop it in there. Now, as you can see, not all of these came out perfect, but there's something that we say at Living Traditions Homestead. Done is better than perfect. So if that's the first time you've ever heard that saying, you can from now on say, at Living Traditions Homestead, we learned that done is better than perfect. Although I will confess that now I take a little fork, speaking of things being perfect, and make sure that all the little rows line up, because that's just what I like. Okay, so I'm completely finished with these. It's time for me to take these inside the house and put seeds in them, put them on the heat mats, and get growing some things. These are actually going to be for herbs. We've got a bunch of herbs to start this spring for the summer. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that one way to keep your costs down for starting your seed blocks is to use your own compost rather than buying compost from the store. We have not been here long enough to create enough compost to use our compost with the seed starting mix, so we had to go to the store and get what they had available. At the time, all they had available that didn't have any chemicals or fertilizers in it was this particular bag. Now, we were a little reluctant at first because this bag and this compost is from the Miracle-Gro company. And so we were a little bit afraid, actually we were really afraid that it was going to have Miracle-Gro fertilizer in it. So we looked on the bag and made sure that the only ingredient is 100% compost. No Miracle-Gro, no chemicals, no fertilizers. So keep that in mind when you're looking for composts. You really want to make sure that it's chemical free. Keep your homestead and your family safe. Isn't that why we're here? Isn't that why we're growing all of our own food? To be healthier as our families and healthier in our life. So thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so glad that I got to show you how we make soil blocks here on our homestead and how we can get started on spring and planting our garden. So check back soon. Thanks so much and God bless.
Follow us as we continue to learn and grow.